Looks like we are officially live, so thank you to everyone who ends up tuning in to our live broadcast of the Runeterra Round Table podcast. Today we will be discussing the seasonal tournament and some other things surrounding the Legends of Runeterra community at this current moment. I'm joined by my new co-host. If you want to introduce yourself, man.
What's up, guys? I'm Monty, and I'm so honored to be co-hosting this podcast with you, Optima. I'm really excited to have a chat with our guests about all the awesome and exciting things going on in the game right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, man. Definitely really appreciate that. And like I told you privately, I think this will you'll be a strong addition to this podcast. So thank you so much. And we're also joined by two lovely competitors within the Legends of Runeterra competitive scene. Let's start with you, Caesar, if you just want to quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm 25-year-old stat student from Finland. Yeah,
how long have you been playing Legends of Runeterra, if you just want to throw that into your introduction?
I have been playing from the start.
Since beta.
Hey,
yeah.
Didn't you just get signed to a team or something?
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Maybe name drop them.
Yeah, Kova Esports. They are a Finnish team.
Awesome.
If some of you have been following Counter-Strike, you might have heard of them, or Valorant. They have pretty good teams in those.
Great, that's good stuff to hear. And Filthy Gamer Weeb, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yep, I've been playing LOR since the not closed beta, the open beta. I didn't actually join in the closed beta, and I was introduced by my brother, Zori Dungu, to it, and then I began playing from there. And that's about it.
Awesome. And okay, well, those are our two guests today, and you two did both qualify for the top 32 within this past weekend's Magic Misadventure seasonal tournament. So congrats to both of you. Definitely a really solid accomplishment in any seasonal tournament, but I would say especially in this one, was just how wide open this meta was. So definitely really a really awesome showcase from the two of you, and being signed to a team, Cesar, kind of shows that hard work is paying off. So yeah, anyways, we're here after the dust has settled, and we do have the top 32 for each of the three competitive shards, as well as on top of that, we did just start spoiler season for the upcoming A Curious Journey expansion that we're getting on February 16th. So lots to discuss and possibly be excited about. Let's just kind of kick things off with our questions here. And our first question that we could just get underway with is, did you enjoy competing in the seasonal open rounds? Why or why not? The reason I think this is a worthwhile question to ask is because there was some discussion just about the overall structure of seasonals and whether or not they actually are a quality competitive experience or not. So considering it went good for you guys, that may mean that there's a little bit of bias there, but I would definitely still want to hear exactly how you guys feel about this open rounds, and even you can even speak about past experience maybe that didn't go as well, just to kind of echo that maybe the bias isn't the reason determining that. So let's start with you, Cesar. Did you enjoy competing in the open rounds of this past Magic Misadventure seasonal tournament?
Yeah, like the Runeterra seasonal tournament has always been like greatly managed, and it has been like the best tournament experience that I have at any games. Like, I don't have to go to like some third side to like check who am I playing. I don't have to add my opponents manually. I don't have to call the like mods because my opponent is taking too long banning their decks or something like that. So purely because of that, it's like an amazing experience, regardless of the meta or like stuff like that.
Okay, that's a very fair point. Let's move over to you, Filthy Gamer Weeb. How exactly did you feel about your seasonal experience?
It's always been good so far. You know, in regards to gameplay, every time I play, I feel as though when I lose, lots of times it's certainly my fault, and lots of times when I win, once again, I feel as though my play matters a lot, which is more about the game LOR. Gameplay really does matter a lot. And for the structure of the tournament, yeah, everything being automatic and not having to worry about anything's really nice.
Awesome, that's good to hear. And you competed as well, Monty. So why not throw your take in this ring?
I'll definitely chip in. I completely agree with both of the previous points. The seasonal tournament, just from a logistics perspective, is so smooth most of the time. I know we have our glitches here and there, but it's better than some other problems that we could have. And the quality of play is just really up there. As to whether it's a competitive tournament or not, that's like a different point, I think. I kind of agree with Mo's take that it's not the most competitive tournament, but it's not really intended to be. But also on the flip side of that, we do see the same people kind of topping every time now. Filthy, I think you have 2-3 tops under your belt now, and Ali, I think, also has, 2 or 3 tops now? You guys have both been crushing it.
Yeah, is that true? How many do we have over here?
I'm at 3 right now.
And you?
Yeah, I have 2. I have 2.
You have 2. Okay. Yeah, well, that's good. It definitely at least shows that like consistency is paying off. So it's not like any like luck is not determining who's making it to that top 32 at all. Even though some people do have the opinion that like randoms can get in, and it can happen due to some buys, but generally speaking, just the chances of that aren't the highest. So good to hear. Let's just move on to our next question. I appreciate both your points there. I'll actually, do you have the spreadsheet open, Monty? I would like for you to also like rattle off the form with our questions, if you don't mind. And everyone watching, especially those on YouTube, there will be a link in the description. And let me get the form over to anyone who's watching on Twitch who wants to participate in the discussion with us. We absolutely want to have you guys a part of these discussions. It's also good to just hear from the overall community throughout these. So we definitely want you guys to be able to join. So on YouTube, link in the description. And if you are watching on the podcast, also link in the description. And then to those of you viewing here in Twitch, we have just dropped the link. So sorry, Monty, if you want to take over question number 2.
Yeah, sure thing. So gentlemen, our lovely guests, what do you two consider to be the most important factor to achieving success in the seasonal tournament open rounds? Is it preparation? Is it a good meta read? What do you think is the most important thing that goes into your success?
Yeah. And we'll start with Filthy Gamer Weeb for this one.
Okay, I would definitely say the most important thing is preparation, as in knowing how to actually play your decks. Now, it has nothing some people it's going to be faster than others on learning that process, but if you come in not knowing how to play your decks, then it's going to be an awful experience. So that's probably the most important thing, is bring decks you can actually play.
Makes sense. Cesar?
Yeah, I agree that it's definitely the preparation, and it consists like making sure that you can play your decks well, and like playing the matchups you expect a lot with your friends. But it also like consists of the like deciding what lineup you play, and like thinking about what lineups they are playing, and deciding.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually want to just turn back to you, Filthy Gamer Wave. Do you mind elaborating a little on what do you define as like real preparation? Like, how does someone prepare for the seasonal tournament? When do you feel well prepared for a seasonal, especially the open rounds where there's so much variance in what you can see?
I only feel well prepared. It's just when I play a deck. You can just tell, or at least I can tell, when I'm playing a deck whether or not I actually can play it well in like many situations. And then come up and I'm like, oh, I don't actually know what to do here. In which case, if that happens very often, then I'm not prepared very well. I don't think it's any sort of process. It's just, you just know how prepared or comfortable you are at a specific deck. You don't really want to be there sitting there every game saying, what should I be doing in this position? Like, I don't know what to do at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. That's definitely a problem I've had in tournaments when I come on a lineup that I'm not super familiar with. That's not what you want in your seasonal experience, for sure.
Yep. I did want to just give you the chance, Cesar. Would that kind of echo your same ideas as far as like preparation? It's just kind of playing the decks until you feel like, okay, I am well prepared with these decks, or do you think you do have to really take the time to evaluate every matchup as far as like the big the big meta beaters that you expect to see? Like, what does your preparation look like?
Yeah, I want to play like each of my decks against like every other like deck that I expect to see a lot of.
Okay, so you like running those matchups over and over and getting a real idea of like your win percentage?
Yeah, like for example, I this season I expected to play a lot of like Arcana Mirrors, so I played a lot of those.
Okay, yep, that's super fair, and that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes, yeah, you want to know exactly those matchups and how you can navigate them differently, and then that's also maybe how you discover techs. Like, okay, this keeps happening. I need to tech in this card because this scenario keeps arising every time, and that's what's causing me to lose to this deck. So I definitely understand both of those different ways. Just hammering the deck enough to feel like you're good at it, and also hammering the matchups to feel like you're well prepared for what you expect to see. So good to see.
Like there are also like some matchups that are hard that you want to like play very much, like the Arcana Mirror, but then there are like some matchups that are like not that skill intensive.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't really have to play those.
So, well, give me an example of that. Like, Lurk, what's the matchup that's not as skill intensive?
I don't know, like some Spider Mirror.
Spider Mirror? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, because that probably come down to draw. Okay, so let's keep things moving. Question 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, tell me exactly how you would rate your competitive experience within the Magic Misadventures meta. And this is going to be from start to finish. So, yeah, let's start with... I actually want to hear Monty's take on this first, because I think that'll be interesting to start with you. So, yeah, how was your competitive experience from start to finish with Magic Misadventures?
Solidly at a 7. And that's because I stuck on the same strategy the entire time. I targeted Ari Kennen at almost every single tournament I played this meta, with the exception of one, where I brought anti-control and then lost to a mid-range lineup because somebody was playing J4 Shen and I forgot Jarvan gives you Cataclysms on level up. Oops. So I think the dominance of Ari Kennen was like really up there, but that also let me target it and abuse bad players, which I enjoyed. And then, in the seasonal, I was frustrated with my experience because I targeted Ari Ken and I played 5 rounds. I saw it once, which is not what I expected. But so I put it solidly at a 7 because of those reasons.
Okay.
Ali?
Yeah.
I would put it quite high as well. I think once I removed Ari Kennen, like if I see Ari Kennen, then I'm going to ban it, in which case it's fine playing in the competitive meta. And if I don't see it, then there's like lots of different decks I was seeing, which was very enjoyable. And just having the ban option really makes the competitive meta fine, given there's like really only one major deck that's really strong, which is Ari Kennen. So yeah, 7's fair.
Okay. And Cesar, how are we following that up?
Yeah, I think that it's either 8 or 7. The Ari Kennen is like clearly dominant deck, and Pantheon is not that far behind, but behind those two decks, there are like 20 decks that you could play, and I really enjoyed that. Like there was that much variety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't like the TF. It was like almost at the TF Fizz level and almost at the Aurelia Azir level, where you felt like you had to bring Ari Kennen. But Ari Kennen's play rate has been decidedly lower than the other tier 0 decks. Even though, like, I think the 4 of us would probably agree that deck is significantly overtuned. Maybe not quite to TF Fizz level, but it's kind of close. It just doesn't feel that way because players are not as good on it, and it's a lot less forgiving than TF Fizz was, you know?
That's fair. That's a really fair point. Thankfully, we at least got that hotfix on the on like December 14th, where they at least kind of toned it down a little. Cause when it came fresh into the game, I would say the deck felt pretty oppressive. But thankfully, we tuned it down at least a little bit, and it made for an overall much better experience for everyone. So not bad. I think 7-8 is exactly where like the devs would like to see people rating their competitive games. So I think that's pretty good. Hopefully we can keep that up heading into next season. So all right, question number 4. Let's Monty, if you want to take this one.
Yeah, sure. What? So
I think we already covered that. So yeah. Pretty much question number 4. We pretty much
So out of the following, out of these cards that we have in this form, what do you guys want to see nerfed? I imagine it's got to be Ari, Twin Disciplines, Wounded White Flame. The rest of these are pretty reasonable, I think. Maybe Bandletree needs a nerf, but I think that's more a problem of Landmark lacking removal, and there's some argument to Pike Champion spell being a bit too strong. But I think outside of that, maybe Iceborne, you guys want to talk about a little bit? I don't know. Those are the big ones for me. Do you guys feel differently?
Yeah, let's start with Filthy. How do you feel about those?
Hey, Ari is just too tanky for how good of a unit it is. Twin sort of prevents all their units from being removed and heals them up. Like, if you ever damage an Ari, then you try and kill it, then they twin, and then suddenly it's full HP.
Yep.
Yeah, and Wounded White Flame is not killable with removal, which is the same issue that Twin and Ari have. You can't actually remove it with damage-based removal. They have one buff spell, and then, yeah, so it should probably get nerfed as well. Eye of the Dragon, plus Crescendum interaction, something should probably change there, so that they can probably just on the Crescendum side, so that they can ever create a decent 2-drop in the game without worrying about Crescendum.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of these, I don't really have too much of an issue with.
Okay, and Cesar, how do you feel about the cards?
About the Arcane deck, I don't think that any of those cards are like alone, like too good. But when you add them together, they are like too good. So I'm not sure what I would nerf there, but there has to be something. But about that Twin, I don't like. There has to be like some cards that are better, and like I think that Twin is like a card that I'm fine with being one of the better cards.
Okay.
Then like Wounded White Flame, I guess that it's so good. Like, I wouldn't hate if they made it like that when you play it, it deals 1 damage to itself.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Kind of gives gems more immediate value though, right?
Yeah, and like the 2 mana heal.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The Eye of the Dragon and the Crescendum, like the problem with Eye of the Dragon is that you can basically play 6 of them in your deck.
Okay.
Then the Death from Below, I'm kinda fine if you nerf it, but you would have to like buff the Oteluk cards somehow.
Okay. So yeah, that card specifically, you're okay with getting nerfed, but then Lurk overall would need some other kind of buff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Lurk overall is like an okay power level, but it's like games when you get Death from Below versus the games where you don't get it. There's like the power level is so much bigger on the games that you get the Death from Below.
Yeah, I think for Death from Below, at the very least, they should just make it follow the rules of pretty much every other champion in the game, where you can't have 2 of them on the board at the same time. So, if you have 1 in hand, if you put 1 on the stack, the second one transforms into a Bone Skewer, I guess. I don't know how they would do it. It's probably a logistical problem, but at the very least, I don't think we should be able to have 2 Death from Belows played.
Yeah, but we would need to, like, buff some Oteluk cards then. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but
yeah, there's probably some way that they can think about it though, since Lurk does it has quite the like sequential order that it kind of goes through with its units, so they're all pretty impactful. So I think buffing one of them could make them just that next bit more impactful. So I think that definitely is something they can consider to just make Death from Below feel less bad. Because I would say like decks like that just kind of, or when stuff like that happens within decks, that's kind of that really annoying scenario that players really get that sour taste in their mouth. So you just kind of want to minimize those, even if it's not kind of overpowering. Just like the way it feels a little like I didn't really get beat, they just kind of did the thing and I lost. So you just kind of want to avoid those scenarios. But all right, let's move on to the next one. I appreciate you guys, you were very thorough with that, so I appreciate that. Let's move over to question number 6. With the Magic Misadventures meta coming to a close soon, would you call patch 3.0, which was like the big patch that was that everyone was excited for? We did get quite a good amount of nerfs and buffs. But one thing I did want to say though is one of the most addressed regions within those buffs, within this 3.0 patch was Freljord, because Freljord had the worst play rate prior to those buffs being sent out and the nerfs. Like all of it. And we got Ashe buffed, we got Trundle buffed, we got Anivia buffed, we got Rhyme Tusk Shaman buffed, we got the Pearl Herder buffed, we got the Iceborne Legacy buff, and nevertheless, Freljord was still the least played region in this past weekend's Magic Misadventure seasonal tournament. So, would you call patch 3.0 and the hotfix from December 14th? And you could see on the forum what cards were hotfix. We got Kinku Wayfinder, Godwill Seeding, Poppy, Yordle Explorer, and Gangplank. I think there may have been one other, but I'm not completely sure. But yeah, would you call those two a success? The 3.0 patch and the hotfix from December 14th. Were they successes? Why or why not? I'm going to start with Filthy Gamer Weeb here.
It was definitely improvement, as Ken and Ezreal at the time was not... It's way worse than Ari Kennen ever was.
Okay.
And they have the Yordle Explorer and Poppy, those also need to get hit, as... Yeah, that was not... The Yordle rally decks where they... I don't know. Granting health buffs is kind of suspicious. It doesn't work out well. So that was nice. Now, as to the buffs, that there were lots of buffs. I'll just speak personally. I don't like Vengeance to 6 because I just don't like Vengeance. Annoying card. I don't like. It's gonna be weird because currently we're in Ionia meta, so it's not too bad. But just Vengeance at 6 mana is like, it's a little scary. I don't. Even with that, though, Freljord was underplayed, but I think that's just because Ionia is so prevalent. It really happens to beat Freljord currently, or at least the Freljord decks. So, I mean, I think it's better. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, that's fair. I did want to just follow up that point of Vengeance at 6. The one scenario where I saw where it got a little ridiculous is, especially if like Jace decks get a little better, like we even started seeing like Financier get like thrown in a bunch of different decks just because like he gives you a 6 that 6 mana spell, and that can get you just those extra vengeance. And I think once you start getting extra vengeances, then it gets a little out of hand for sure. So that's like a card to watch alongside Vengeance at 6. But otherwise, I would say that I kind of liked it. I'm allowing Control to have a little bit more of a presence. Cesar, how do you want to follow that up? Did you think that patch 3.0 and the hotfix on December 14th were a success? Why or why not?
I think that GamerWeb said it well. That I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
About the vengeance, it allows I got top 5 master with after the buffs. So I want to say a couple things about the vengeance and the Elliot buff. So the 6 mana vengeance, you can do stuff like play back mana first 2 turns, then play Catalyst on turn 3, and then you have like Vengeance on turn 4 for their, like, I don't know, like Vega, or the like whatever 4 drops your opponent is playing, and it does.
Sorry.
Go.
I was just going to say that it gives you a better response to the threats that are now more prevalent in the early game. When lore was like new and just starting, threats didn't really come down until turn 5, turn 6 anyways. So Vengeance being at 7 was kind of in line with those because that's when you would have mana banked. Now with threats coming out on turn 4, like Poppy, like Vagar, like Jace even is a turn 4 threat, you can't really afford to be banking mana in the same way. So what Ali was saying about how you can go bank into Catalyst and still having Vengeance available is super, super useful for you.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're a fan of that, Cesar? Just wanted to make sure, like, you like that on turn 4 you have an ability to play Vengeance now?
Yeah, I like it. And also, it gives you an option to, like, play double Vengeance, or, like, on later turns, with the 12 mana, or, like, the what is the 7 mana thing that goes face? Atrocity.
Yeah, Atro. Yeah, they nerfed Atro because they didn't want you double casting it, and now we can double cast Vengeance. It's scary. I definitely agree with Filthy Gamer Weeb on that one. It's a bit of a spooky thing that it's available to you, but I also agree with Ali's perspective that threats are now coming out earlier. We need answers to them a bit earlier, so I want Control to be able to exist in the game.
I mean, I don't think that it was a problem in this meta, but I would definitely see a meta where it comes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that Rumitsu said it well, that it was scary.
Yeah. There's the I think the best way to sum it up is that we just need to stay alert on Vengeance as far as if a meta does come through where control's like very already in a good spot, and then we're just really feeling the power of all the Vengeances. But yeah, as long as Ione is good, I think we may be all right with the Vengeance being at 6 mana. But let's move on to the next question. I'll let Monty take this one.
Yeah, so is Legends of Runeterra at this moment a worthwhile game to pursue competitively? Why or why not? And I'm actually just going to go ahead and start this one off. It's not. It's not. There's no competitive scene to pursue, so how can you pursue a competitive career in the game? You can be a content creator, and I think that there is definitely merit to doing that. I think there's a lot of merit to being a content creator. I think the YouTube content for this game does extraordinarily well. Twitch is a bit of a hard bar to sell, but as far as I know, YouTube is doing very well for the game. And I'll pass it off to Ali, since he's been answering last for the past couple.
Yeah, real quickly before you start, Ali, I just wanted to follow up on Monty's point real quick. What if you just want to play a game that's a well-made competitive game and play it competitively with at least some incentives? Do you think at that point, not a full-on career, just with enough incentives to allow you to get some of your like time, like investment on time back, and also have fun while doing it?
A good competitive experience and a good competitive environment with a grassroots scene that has that the community really flocks towards. I think it's a fantastic game to get into.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a good game to pursue competitively.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
There's like a distinction there for sure. I think it's a great game to participate in as a competitor. I think that tournaments in the client are fantastic, like we talked about with the seasonals at the start of the podcast. They're great. They're some of the best tournaments we've ever played in. I think the grassroots scene is fantastic with organizers like Runeterra Life, Mastering Runeterra, Runeterra Academy. All of you guys are doing fantastic stuff for the grassroots scene. Metafy is in here backing us. GG Tour, all these great sponsors are coming in, throwing their money in to help the grassroots scene grow. I think it's great as a hobby. I don't think you can pursue it competitive.
Yeah, I was going to say myself that it's a great hobby, and I would love to like play it like full time, but at the moment it's just not possible. If you are not a content creator, and that's not something that I'm that interested in.
Fair. And all right, Filthy, take us home.
Yep, that's all there is to it. If you want to be you can be a content creator full time, but you can't play competitive full time. It's just I very much enjoy the competitive scene. We're playing LOR competitively, but yeah, I cannot be a competitor, and that's all. Something to have it hobby.
I mean, I guess that if you live in a country like Lebanon, where the living costs are small, you could kinda be, but that's...
You still gotta be consistent, and that's hard.
Yeah. All right, super fair. And I appreciate everyone throwing their opinions in there. So the question I want to follow this up, and then I'll let Monty do the next two questions just to keep things rolling like that. But I think this one's just like a direct follow-up, so I just want to keep it going as the person offering these questions. Are you then willing, because we all said that it's like not super worthwhile to pursue as anything more than a hobby, do we think that we can be doing more than with the grassroots scene? Are we willing to possibly start paying entry fees for grassroots tournaments so that then there's bigger prize pools and more incentive to really take the grassroots scene a little bit more serious? Are we willing to consider that? And I guess we could start with Filthy for this one since you went last time.
That's one way to grow this grassroots scene. It would work for some people. It would certainly help the grassroots scene. Now, me personally, I would compete in some of them, sure. I don't usually compete in grassroots tournament too often, but yeah, it would help.
Okay. What about you, Cesar?
I would play in some, but not in all of them, because like sometimes I just want to play a tournament because I want to test like some idea that I have, but that I'm like pretty sure that is bad, but I want to play it out, and I don't want to pay anything to test idea that I'm pretty sure that won't work out.
Yeah, that's fair. If you're just trying to get a sense and like reach a level of understanding with your decks and like your lineup and just trying to get your feet settled, it would make sense not wanting to throw any money into that.
Yeah, like I want, like there are like times when I want to like, what is the meta like, and I don't think that there is like better place to get sense of the meta than Grassroot tournaments.
Yeah.
But if I don't have sense of the meta before the tournament, I don't want to like pay for it to get like my ass blasted.
Yeah. Oh, it's completely understandable. I think Runeterra Academy kind of opened the door for paid tournaments. I think it's super possible to have paid tournaments with bigger prize pools. I just don't know if they'll work. Like, I don't think you can flood the market with them because, like the others have said, I don't think people are willing to pay to play in every single one, and I don't think the competitive community base is large enough yet to be able to sustain multiples in the span of a week. Like, maybe if you did 2 a month, or 1 a week, even, I think you could maybe make it work. But I think you can't flood the scene with them just yet because there's not enough people to sign up to make it worthwhile. I think the other thing, if you do it the other way, like another league, like the way Runeterra Academy did, where they have 7-week tournament, then another 2-3 weeks of playoffs. How long? I don't even know how long playoffs are. Then I think that's like a very, very reasonable thing, and I think people are definitely interested in that, and you can make that work for sure.
That's fair. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Having that kind of longevity thing going on with it really does kind of make the money expense then not feel as like bad when it's just like, all right, I paid money for this one day to do well, whereas something like Runeterra Academy was like a long season where you were able to like work your way into getting better so that you could come back maybe from a bad start. So yeah, that makes sense, and I appreciate everyone's input on a question that is definitely got brought up on Twitter too. So that was kind of my main reason, just trying to see people's idea on what if the Grassroots team did try to do a little bit more entry fees, because there's not really a culture of that right now, so something to consider moving forward. All right, but anyways, you could do this next one, Monty.
Yeah. Just to round out that last point about the culture of not having, like, people not paying for Grassroots scenes, I think it's hard, right? Because the game is free. The tournaments we have are free. The in-client tournament is free. It's not, like, the vast majority of people that play this game, I would say, are college students and probably late teens, early 20s. People that don't really, like, it's not like poker where you have to put money down to sit at the table. There's no expectation of having to play, right? People don't really necessarily want to go out and pay to play. If every tournament was paid, they would just say, screw this, I'm just gonna go play Gauntlet, right? Like, maybe paid tournaments is the answer to making Gauntlet better. But, yeah, I just think it's hard to change the mindset, and you kind of got to start slow when you're doing something like that.
Yeah.
Take us into our next question. With the new roadmap coming out highlighting future plans, it's supposed to be coming out around the 16th, right after the next expansion. What do you guys want to hear details about? Ali?
Yeah, obviously the new competitive mode, or like what competitive looks like, but would also like what the expansions look from, like after the battlefield is set.
Yeah,
like,
there's no more new regions, so it's how are we going to do expansions from now on? Is it just going to be like a void set, and each region is just going to get a void character? Is that the next thing? Like, I'm also curious to see how they take it going forward. Did you have more to add to that?
Yeah, because like this is like, I feel like after the battlefield set, the game is like complete in a way that we have 10 regions that are like, and all of them have like pretty much as many cards, and
and they don't have like the new region kind of excitement to like fall back on, so I do think these new card sets are also going to need to be pretty hard hitting to keep interest high. We're gonna need like tools that keep things very fresh feeling, because a whole new region brings a different level of excitement that a card like just new cards in Freljord just won't really do in the same way unless they really do come out with some really awesome champions and support cards. So I do think there is even a little bit of extra pressure to make sure these cards are well made too.
Yeah, but to be fair, the new region takes like half of the cards that are released, so now that they don't have to like fill the whole expansion with the new region, like the old regions get like more room, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
More equally distribute the cards, as well as hopefully giving us more complete packages with each card distribution. That would be nice, because a lot of the times we're getting half-complete packages, and then we have to wait 2 or even 3 expansions to see the other portion of it, and it's just kind of frustrating at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
what about...
Droplet.
Sorry.
Yeah. Droplet had a tune when it came out. Can you guys believe that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Filthy, tell us your thoughts here.
Just waiting for any competitive announcement. That's it.
That's
gonna
it.
Be on mass amounts of copium, and then when it doesn't come, it's like, dude, it didn't come. What do you mean?
Nah, it's coming, and then we're gonna see some more esports team signs. Filthy, if you could be signed by any major esports org, who would you get signed by?
I don't know. But
you don't know? Did you not watch League, follow League? Did you not have like a team? I want to be TSM.
What is that? That's what you mean. Oh,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, we have to join Cloud9 because they're Cloud9
FGW. Okay.
Yeah, and then we can make my profile picture a clown with a 9 in it.
Who would you get signed by?
Did you ask? Who'd you ask?
You.
Oh, you asked me. Okay, I'm sorry. I misheard you there. Who would I get signed by? I honestly don't know orgs who would be interested in the competitive card game community super well.
Just pick a league org. They're all coming eventually.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably Team Liquid. I'm a pretty big fan of theirs.
Team Liquid guy.
Yeah.
Ali's already picked up by a team. He's living the high life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was a little confused.
But if you could get picked up by an LCS org, who would you get signed by? You don't have to answer. It's okay.
Yeah, he has a home. He doesn't want to answer that.
I'll go Mets.
Okay. That was funny though. Okay. All right, let's move on to our next question. We're almost done here. And once again, appreciate your guys' time. And real quickly, I did just want to do a sponsorship plug for anyone who's made it this far. Would absolutely be great if any of you guys watching YouTube, wherever you're watching, if you would consider going to killerjerky.com. They're a really awesome website that has a bunch of snack options that are completely centered towards the market is for gamers. If you really think about it, we spend a lot of times in front of our computers, either grinding ladder or in a very long tournament. You're getting best if you end up in that third game every round. That's a lot of time to be at your computer, and you don't really have time to go to the kitchen and make a meal. You can consider going to Killer Jerky, and they have a plethora of really awesome jerky options as well. Some other stuff like Mexican trail mix, some gummy worms, other stuff that you can consider grabbing, and then you have options to snack on so that you are well fed while you are competing in that tournament or grinding a ladder session or whatever you're doing to where you don't have time to go cook a full meal. Really cool options. I was honestly so thoroughly surprised by the variety they got there. You guys can use code RuneterraLife for 10% off your next order, and that does directly help us, and any money that we make off of that will go back right into the community for the events that we host. So just thought I'd plug that. Appreciate you guys who are still watching, and let's continue the show. So question number 10, how do you currently feel emotionally about the future of Legends of Runeterra? And I think you, Filthy Gamer Weave, you already kind of alluded to yours with saying copium, so just kind of give us a little bit more thoughts there, since you already touched on this.
Okay, I'm optimistic in the long run. I just don't know if it's gonna come out in that soon. There's gonna be any major announcement that soon. They're probably gonna do it later when the game's more complete. But I actually am optimistic given how large the League of Legends scene is and how committed Riot seems to be to LOR. I'm optimistic in the long run, but just not yet.
Okay. Cesar, what about you? How are we feeling emotionally about the future of Legends of Runeterra?
Yeah, I have to say optimistic because I feel like the play when I checked the YouTube numbers from the videos that are there, it surprised me that there are multiple channels get 50,000 views in each of their videos. I didn't realize that there was that big audience for, and that makes me believe that the casual audience for this game is really big.
Yeah.
And that makes me very optimistic for this future of this game. I don't know if the skin will grow. But like, the future of Runeterra is like very bright, I think.
Okay, awesome. That's good to hear. We're both optimistic over on that end. What about you, Monty? And I'll do my point last.
Yeah, I completely agree with the other two. I think the short term, I am cautiously optimistic. I think this roadmap will be promising. It will give us some of the answers we've been hoping for. I think it'll more clearly lay out the structure to worlds. I hope. Maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I'm really hoping for that. And I think long term, as Filthy said, Riot really knows what they're doing with building and growing an esports scene. Once they know that there is a foundation here, they're going to move in and they're just going to pump it right up. Like, I have no doubt about that. There's not a single doubt in my mind that Riot will step in when the time is right and ensure that the esports scene is developed properly and efficiently. They've already done it once with League. They're doing it with Valorant. They'll do it with us as well. It's just a matter of hitting that critical mass of players that are interested in both the competitive environment, and there's a bit of a gap between the casual base and the competitive base in the game right now, and I think that's just due to the complexity of the game. But as people get to play the game more and more, they'll start to improve, they'll start to want to improve, and then they'll start looking towards the Twitch. How do I get better? They'll find a streamer. That streamer will talk about the tournament they're playing in on the weekend and how they're representing their team, and then people will start following the storylines, and then people will get invested, and then it'll all snowball, and eventually we'll get the competitive scene that we all have in our heads. We're all dreaming of, but it's going to take a while to get there for sure.
Yeah, that really details it quite well. I would say, yeah, I'm pretty much with everyone else. I really like the term cautiously optimistic, just because the one thing that irks me honestly a lot is just, and maybe it's because they are waiting out for the perfect timing to really go harder with LOR, but just the lack, I feel like they miss huge advertising opportunities with Legends of Runeterra often. I couldn't, like, during the time of Arcane coming out, it was literally getting talked about everywhere, and it would have just been so cool if more of, like, the League of Legends profile and all these other entities that they have that are still under the Riot umbrella would have just kind of, like, in some way been able to, like, throw a little highlight or some group highlight where they discussed all the games during that time, where just everyone was kind of talking about a Riot show, because there was just a lot of interest there, and I feel like they could have done something there. And then there was just like a lunar type of event for pretty much every Riot game other than Legends of Runeterra, where they were at, like, doing stuff with those games. And I just feel like at times it also feels like we are kind of on, like, we're the last of all of the other games when it comes to when we actually get considered for those things.
Don't you dare take that away from the TFT players. They love thinking they're the last.
Yeah, they are not. They absolutely,
no, they're not.
Yeah, they absolutely are not. So I'm just like, I would like to stop just feeling like we're the last, and that we're getting just as included in everything Riot as the other ones, and that they take a little bit more advantage of advertisement opportunities, just because I still get League of Legends ads, and I don't even play League of Legends, and I get those ads quite frequently. I have yet to see a Runeterra ad, so I just kind of want to see a little bit more interest on the advertising side of things. But yeah, thank you, everyone. All right, so last question, but I'm actually going to throw in a bonus question just because I really would just like to hear just a little bit about your guys' lineups. But yeah, Monty, if you want to take away question number 11.
Yeah, what champion would you guys like to see most with the upcoming expansion? I think I really want to see... I've always liked Gnar, and I know he's coming now, so I'm really happy to see him. I'm all tongue-tied. Somebody take it away.
I don't know, is there, like, do people already know all the champions? Because if not, then I just want to see Jax, because I think he'd be a combat unit that's high cost. You know, I want some high cost champions, none of these broken 2-3 mana champions that they keep making that are unkillable, do 10 different things, level up and one-shot you. Yeah, let's get an actual expensive champion here.
Unplayable, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's gonna be good.
It's Jax. Yeah. It has to be good, right? Yeah. Jax is always playable.
Alright, what about you, Cesar?
I would like to see, like, Singed or Dr. Munda, because I used to play them in League of Legends when I played it, and yeah, I made them, so...
Okay, not bad. What about you, Monty? Oh no, you already said that. All right, let me say mine's. I think I don't know. For some reason, I've always wanted to see Fiddlesticks in this game. I think he's just like an interesting kind of guy, and I know that that's very unlikely the champion we're going to get with this expansion. I've played minimal League, and I really did like messing around with Fiddlesticks when I did play. So it's a champion I would like to see. But yeah, thank you guys for your answers there. Just a little bit more of a casual question. And yeah, I just wanted to finish off with, can you guys just, I'll start with Cesar. You went 9-0 in those seasonal open rounds. Can you just kind of highlight a little bit of for us, send us off with a summary of kind of your lineup. How did you come to your lineup? And then navigating those 9 rounds, did you almost lose a set? What top players did you have to kind of go through? And who's like the final boss at the end of that when you were 8-0 trying to finish off 9-0? Tell us just a little bit more of your seasonal run. I would love to just hear a little bit more for our viewers.
Yeah, so before the tournament, I thought that the 2 most common decks would be like Arikenen and Pantheon, and they would be even like paired like very, very commonly. So I wanted to target those. So, and I don't think that there is like any other decks than like Aggro that can target both of those reliable. And so I picked Spiders and Pirates. And then I just picked Arikenen as my third deck because it's just the best deck in the game, and Arikenen is like skill intensive, so I felt confident that I could win the mirror matchups.
Okay.
And then as for the seasonal run, there was actually this, I believe it was round 5 that I was I had 2 cards in my hand, and they had to be exactly like 2 Noxia Favors, so to win.
Okay.
And I had those, so yeah. I didn't face any long plays except Sepius in that round 5. He's another Finnish guy and a friend of mine. But I didn't actually like recognize any other of my opponents in my run.
Okay, and that was on the EU shard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the EU shard had the...
Shard.
Yeah. EU Shard has a ton of really skilled players, even the ones you don't recognize, so that if it was to happen somewhere, that would make sense happening on the EU Shard. And then furthermore too, it had the most players out of any of the shards this season as well, so just a lot of players competing. Filthy Gamer Weep, what about you? You brought a lineup that afforded you a 8-0 finishing record, an 8-1 finishing record, and obviously qualified for the top 32. How did you come to the conclusion that was the lineup you wanted to bring? And how did those rounds kind of go for you?
Okay, I brought Ari, Kennen, SI with the Go Hard because I think it was the strongest. It is the strongest deck currently in the game. Then I brought Lee Zoe because I really enjoy that deck. It was pretty good into lineups. And then I brought Fiora Pantheon, which sounds weird, but the reason why I brought it was because it's a Pantheon deck that doesn't lose to aggro. It's because all the other Pantheon decks, Taric Pantheon, Shyvana Pantheon, they're losing to aggro. I just wanted to play a Pantheon deck because it beats like control and stuff, but suddenly I'm not just conceding to aggro if I don't open 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. So it's like an alternate way to beat aggro.
Okay, Monty's face is killing me. Oh my.
I'm astonished by Fiora. Fiora's dead, bro. What are you doing trying to bring her back?
You have Chain Vest in that deck. It's over.
I guess so.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. Sorry for our little kid viewers, but you have the biggest of balls to bring Fiora to a seasonal tournament. But it makes sense. Yeah. Fiora doesn't just crumble to aggro. You do have to draw some correct pieces. How much did you play that deck to feel comfortable on it? I'm just curious.
It was the Fiora helping into aggro was more of a theoretical thing.
Okay.
It's like a Pantheon deck. I played a decent amount of Pantheon, so I'm like in the 3-attack challenger, and it probably beats aggro. So, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, a decent bit of people did okay with just mono Pantheon sleeve, and if Fiora was like somewhat of a dead card, it possibly wouldn't cost you games. So yeah, dang, that's interesting, and obviously it worked out for you. In top 32, you can change your deck, so I'm assuming that both of you are maybe really considering the possibility of that. Once I don't know if do you know your matchups beforehand, like who you're gonna play against?
I don't know them right now, but you know them before.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that will maybe determine it. Yeah.
I'm like 99% sure that I'm going to play Broken by round 1.
Crush him.
Yeah, may have to play that Xerath he's been notorious for this whole season.
He says that he loses always the round 1 in Top Cut, so...
Okay.
Just means it's free for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. This was thoroughly enjoyable, and you guys definitely provided some quality details on your seasonal experience, how you feel about the game, and just overall on Runeterra. Best of luck to the both of you in top 32 at you two, but do keep in mind what you guys have accomplished up to this point is fantastic. It's phenomenal, and a lot of people would wish they were in your shoes. So no matter what happens, you guys did a great thing, and still, best of luck, and shall be interesting. I'll definitely be checking out and seeing how you both finish in that top 32 for the different charts, EU and the Americas region. Did you guys have any final thoughts or any shout outs who helped you for your seasonal run? Definitely any plugs, feel absolutely free. No, anything you guys are up to that you maybe want to let the people know about.
And I have to plug Zorig Dungu,
Oh.
My brother. I have to plug my brother. At Zorig Dungu on Twitter. And
Is he still banned on Twitch?
Yeah, he is. But don't worry, he has a second Twitch account, Zorig_Dungu, It's fine.
Okay, did he have a good influence on your seasonal run, I would assume?
Yeah, he did, I'd say.
Okay.
I mean, he got me on Lee Sin, that's the main thing.
Okay, good to hear. What about you, Cesar? Any shout outs, anything you want to let the people know?
Yeah, better, and then the whole combat squad.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right, good to hear. Well, thank you guys once again, one last time. Really appreciate it. Best of luck. And hopefully we can have you guys on again down the line. And we'll see how you guys shake down on the top 32 happening this upcoming weekend. There will be a link to the official Runeterra stream so that you guys can make sure you're followed up there and watch, because you don't want to miss out. This is a really solid meta, as you could tell by the way that question was answered. So it should make for a very solid showcase and just be a great celebration of Legends of Runeterra as a game. So definitely go support, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys. I guess we'll see everyone in the next one. For now, we're all done, so peace out. Bye.
Bye.